How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I put a post on YouTube asking about whether you guys used alt accounts in Runescape or not, whether you thought they were useful, and basically just finding out what you guys used them for. And a lot of you came and gave me answers, a lot of you voted, so thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. But today I wanted to basically talk about whether alts are useful in RuneScape 3, and going off some of the answers that you guys have given me, I'm going to be talking about what you guys use them for, to share the thoughts with other people as well, and just basically discuss whether alts are actually any good to have in this game, or whether you should just basically stick to your main account and not use them whatsoever. So let's talk about that. But first, if you enjoy the video, if you enjoy the topic, if you find it interesting in any way whatsoever, maybe leave a like on the video. It'll get suggested to other people as well, and I really appreciate it. It helps out more than you probably know. And also, of course, if you enjoy the videos, then why not subscribe, because there'll be more coming in the near future. I know, guys, this isn't the usual sort of gameplay entertainment side of stuff that I normally do, but you know, it's been on my mind and I wanted to test this sort of video out as well. So if you have any thoughts on it, then I am always happy to hear them. You guys know that by now, so drop them in the comments and share your thoughts on the video. I will be happy to read every single comment and reply to them all as well. Anyway, let's not waste too much more time. Let's get into, is a alt account worth you using on RuneScape 3? Before we jump in, I just figured I'd better add this while I was editing. This video you could probably just listen to rather than watching if you wanted. There will be video in the background, but it probably isn't going to be all that relevant to what I'm going to be talking about. So just in case you wanted to know, you can definitely just minimize this and listen to it as you're playing the game or doing anything else during your day. Okay, so first off, I assume the best thing to do would probably discuss the things that you guys mentioned to me on YouTube about what you use your alt accounts for, because that way, if anyone's listening right now that is completely unsure what you would use them for, you can probably make a decision from that even. Like, it's probably not that difficult of a question, but we can discuss really quickly what you guys use them for, and then we can go more in depth on my thoughts about it, and ways that it could benefit you, or ways that you just may not need them, or basically whether they're just a complete waste of your time personally. So, from what I read, a lot of you guys do actually have alts, and I mean, more people don't than do, but I must admit, I was very surprised to see how many of you actually played with alt accounts. It's really insane for me to see. I thought that maybe, you know, like the odd person here and there played with alt accounts and made use of them, but it seems like quite a lot of you guys do. Unless we just got lucky with the amount of people that got involved with this vote, then hey, I'm actually really impressed. Anyway, going off of what you said, it seems like most of you basically use alts for making money. So that is absolutely one of the ways that you guys said a lot, and I am not surprised by that. Making money in this game is massive, so I am not surprised that you're all using alts to try and make a bit more money per hour as well. So we'll talk about more in depth again very shortly about ways that you may be using an alt to make money and whether it's worth it for you personally. But what other things were you guys using it for? You were using it for buy limits at the Grand Exchange, you were using it for flipping, someone was even using it for PKing, another person used it to help gather resources for their main account to go for max and double experience, stuff like that, and some of you were just pretty much using them just for fun to mix it up from your main account, which is absolutely freaking awesome. You must love the game a hell of a lot to be doing that. So hey, that's really cool. But before we get too off topic, this video is talking about whether an alt account will be useful for you if you don't already have one, or whether they're just worth using in this game as a whole. Now, honestly, guys, I really think that the answer to this really just depends on yourself as how you play the game. Now, personally, I have an alt, but I don't really use it. I actually use it for the buy limits on the Grand Exchange sometimes if I ever really need them, but it doesn't really happen all that much, and of course at the moment it's just sat in free to play, so I never really need to use it for anything that's free to play. So there is one other reason that you guys didn't actually mention, which surprised me, which is something that I actually use my alt account for, and it's the only thing that I actually still log into it for, and that is Treasure Hunter. So if you are a free-to-play account, you still have access to Treasure Hunter, and that is another big reason that you may want to use an alt. But basically, what we're going to do from here is talk about reasons that you may want to use an alt, and I will go a little bit more into depth about that. And then once we've talked about the reasons that you may want to use an alt, we'll then go into the reasons that you may not, or maybe just using an alt isn't going to be for you. However, we will start off with the reasons that an alt may be useful to you. So we're going to be talking about that first. I will probably only cover the main reasons that I find useful and the ones that were mentioned the most, as this video will end up being a long drag otherwise. There'll be a lot more reasons though, so if you want, I will link the community post that I put in the description. You'll be able to find that, and you'll be able to read all the other reasons that people use their alts for. Anyway, let's start off with the first point, which is going to be, of course, money making. A lot of people use alts for money making. Let's start with that. Okay, so money making with an alt account. Now, the reason people would want to do this is just basically maximizing the profit they can get per hour. A lot of people are chasing after purely just gold in this game, and it's absolutely something that pretty much makes RuneScape tick. Like, even though you may be doing your bosses and all that sort of stuff, the end game goal is pretty much just to get as much money as you can, upgrade your gear, and then work on the other bosses. And then once you've got all of the money, then you'll probably be going back and perfecting every single boss and improving in that aspect. But first, you're going to need a lot of money. So people use alt accounts to make money. To be completely honest, it's quite simple as to why they would do this. It's quite easy to understand, and I'm sure I don't need to explain this in too much depth for you. However, to put it simply and fairly quickly is, if you have a main account which is earning maybe 10 mil an hour on a boss, and you had an alt account, just one for example, and you were AFKing something for 5 mil an hour, you've basically jumped your 10 mil an hour profit to 15 mil an hour purely from tabbing out to a different account every now and again, clicking on something that maybe makes 5 mil an hour and doing that, and that just jumps your profit up by a good amount. That's a really good chunk. But there's the people that take this a hell of a lot further. And these people that I'm talking about aren't just maybe using 2 or 3 accounts. Like, there's people that use 10, maybe even 20 accounts at once, and they'll purely do this just for money making. They may not even have a main, they may be just purely using this for money making, and they'll be tabbing through the 10 accounts and running them all at the same time. Whether they're doing the same thing or different things, it doesn't really make a difference, as long as they're making maybe between 2 and 5 mil an hour, as just an example. If you're making 5 mil an hour on 10 accounts, that's 50 mil an hour that you're making, and that's absolutely insane. 50 mil an hour on accounts that are probably doing all AFK things and making an absolute ton. Now, when you've got something that literally makes 2 to 5 mil an hour, it's not all that much to do personally on your own. But if you have access to 10 accounts that can do that, then holy crap, does that become a really profitable money making method for you. It's a lot of effort to do, and personally, I just really couldn't do that. Like, it just seems like something that would take too much attention, too much effort for myself. I would rather go and do a boss. But people make money in this game in a lot of different ways, and making 50 to 100 mil an hour, if you had 20 accounts, even more, you could go absolutely crazy on it if you wanted to. You could make an absolute insane amount of money. However, that is keeping in mind that these would be on free to play, and if they were for members, then you would obviously have costs. We'll talk about that later on though when we talk about the cons and stuff, but think about that. Making a ton of money from alts is definitely something you could do, and if you were really good at multitasking, if you had maybe 3 screens and you could split them all up, you could even probably do bossing on your main account, earning that 10 to 20 mil an hour, and then have your alt accounts running as well. It's just a lot of work, a lot of effort, but I'm sure there's someone out there who does it. Let me know in the comments if you are one of those people who run that many accounts, and I am quite curious, do you ever get bans for doing stuff like that? Because you technically aren't breaking the rules as long as you're not running bots on them, which I would highly hope you don't. But if you are playing them genuinely, do you ever get bans from it? Because I have heard that it's kind of risky, or there is some sort of high report rate on it if you have multiple accounts all doing the same thing, whether the bot detection picks up on it somehow or not. But you'll have to let me know. I am quite interested in that. Anyway, the next thing is something that I actually used my alt account for quite a bit in the past, but not so much anymore, and that is going to be flipping. Now, a lot of people do flipping in this game to make some money while they're doing other stuff on the side, so they'll do, say, a boss, and every time their trip ends or they end up going back to the bank or the Grand Exchange, they'll check their offers, update them, and make a bit of cash extra on the side. So your 10 mil an hour could maybe go to something like 12, 15, depending how good you are, and then it can go even higher if you're really good at it, and it depends how much money you've got as well. Flipping is absolutely really a good way to make money if you are good at it. But when you are trying to flip, you sometimes run into an issue, which is the buy limits on the Grand Exchange, which will hold you back on your profit margins. And of course, if you have, for example, a high value flip on an item or a few items that have a really low buy limit, which means you may only be able to buy 2 or 5 of that item every 4 hours, you can basically be barriered out of making a lot of profit on items that you could have made more on if you didn't have the buy limit. So having an alt account actually allows you to buy more of these and do more flips. So it definitely unlocks that aspect for a lot of flippers. But not only that, people who are wanting to maybe stack up a load of resources for double experience and are wanting to do a massive flip at that point, they want to, the no double experience is coming in a few weeks or maybe in a month or something, so they are stacking up all the stuff that they know is going to go up in price, and they can't buy it quick enough purely because of buy limits. So if you have 2, 3, 4, maybe even more accounts, that buy limit jumps up a hell of a lot. You can invest a lot more money into it, and then when it comes time to sell, you have a frick ton more than you would have done on one account, and you can make a lot more money that way as well. But that being said, it doesn't have to just go to flipping for the buy limits, because if you are someone who wants to max maybe, and you want to buy all of the stuff straight away, but say you needed an absolute ton of shark, I really don't know the buy limit on shark, but say you were doing that for 99 cooking, and the buy limit was less than what you needed to actually get to 99, you could then basically use a second account account to buy that. You could always get a friend to do it as well. But of course, having a second account will allow you to do that without the friend being online, and it just basically means it's a lot easier for you to organize. The third thing that I saw you guys mention that you used alt accounts for was basically gathering resources and stuff for your max account. So someone said that they had alt accounts that would gather resources like maybe woodcutting or doing fishing and stuff like that, mining even, and pass that stuff onto their main account so that they could get towards max without having to pay an absolute ton for it. This is actually really smart, and I really like the idea. If you have that time to do so, then hey, you might as well do it, because this is gonna basically make you save a lot of money when you want to go to get high levels in skills, or maybe if you are going for max or even 120s, 200 mils, having alt accounts to feed you that supplies and stuff for it would be a massive time saver for one, in case you wanted to gather the stuff yourself, but also it would save you a lot of money in the long run. So this is a really cool idea. I really like it. So thank you to whoever shared that. I really appreciate it. That's really cool. The last reason that you guys said you use alts for quite a lot is just basically for having fun in the game. So a lot of people said that they have alt accounts purely so that they can take a break from their maxed account and do other stuff as well. A lot of you say that the beginning game is the most enjoyable bit, leveling up and seeing all the achievements and stuff like that that you've already achieved on your max account. So it's really cool to see that you guys are enjoying the game that much to go back and do it all again on an alt account. Personally, I do have an alt, but the motivation for me to go and max that account again is just not there. Maybe it's just because I don't have the time for it, but I really am happy that I have my maxed account as it is, and anything that I would invest in time would probably go straight back into it. Anyway, that is all the positive reasons that I was going to talk about, so if any of those sound like you would probably make good use of them, then hey, maybe using an alt is for you. However, now we will talk about the reasons that maybe it's not, because personally, I don't really use alts that much. I do have one that I made a while ago, but don't really use anymore, and let's talk about that and the reasons why, and reasons that maybe you just think, you know what, this just isn't worth it. Okay, this will probably not take too long to cover, but the reasons that you may not want to use an alt, or maybe that's not for you, is fairly simple, and that is just because you may not have the effort to do so. that's pretty much it. Like, it takes a lot of effort to do it, and whenever I tried to use an alt account to make money on the side or anything, I would be doing my boss, and then as soon as I tab back into the other account, it'd usually be sat in the lobby or doing nothing, and I'd always forget. I just really wasn't that good at remembering to keep on top of it, but personally, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just really bad at it. What about you guys? Have you ever tried this and then you've ended up doing the same thing? Let me know. But okay, there is a few other reasons that you may not want to use alts, and you need to keep this in mind as well. When I mentioned earlier about using 20 accounts to make a ton of money at once, yes, that is definitely something you could do, but if you only really use them maybe a few hours a week here and there, it may not be worth it because of the cost that it's going to take for you to keep that account going. So if you are wanting to use money making methods that are on a member's account, then all of those accounts are going to require bonds, and that's going to get really expensive. Of course, you could make those accounts self-sufficient if you had the time to do so, but when I used to do it in the past, sometimes I would probably spend the 2 weeks of a bond time making money, and then by the end of it, I would probably only have about 10 mil profit left by the time I bought a bond back again. So it didn't really end up being worth it for myself because I didn't play all that much. But you know, if you play quite a lot, maybe all day, every day, or even 5+ hours a day, and it's guaranteed that you will be able to put the time in, then you could make an absolute fortune off of this if you could make your accounts self-sufficient. Or I guess you could basically just look for free to play money making methods and do it that way, as you will be making less money per hour probably, but you will not have any costs on bonds, so the rest would be just that really. However, I personally do have kind of a worry about this, and that is if you would get banned. So people, if you do this and you are here watching this video, leave in the comments and let me know how that sort of plays out for you, because I've got a feeling that if you have maybe 20 accounts making a ton of money and then you traded all of that profit over to your main account to maybe buy yourself something nice after you've done it, that could look really dodgy to Jagex, guys. Like, personally, that's too much of a risk that I would not want to do. Unless Jagex came out and said, nope, absolutely fine, you'll be okay. It just seems like, I don't know, if you trade over like 1 bill every couple of days to your main account because you're using 20 to 30 accounts or going absolutely crazy on it, then maybe that just looks too fishy. I don't know, but you'll have to maybe take that risk yourselves, I guess, if that's something you're considering doing. Maybe you could even ask a JMod, maybe you could get in touch with one, or maybe it's been confirmed that it's absolutely fine somewhere else. To be honest, the best bet and the easiest bet would probably be try and find someone who does it themselves. And if there is someone, like I say, do let us know in the comments if that works or not. I'm very, very interested about that. Anyway, other than the fact that it could be an expensive upkeep, or maybe you just don't have the time to manage it, and maybe you just don't have the effort to manage it like me, where it just times out, there's not really any other reasons not to use them. Alt accounts are really awesome in this game. They can allow you to make a lot more money. They can allow you to do other things while you are bossing, or if you're on your main account skilling and wanting to go for max, you could then use an alt account to do bossing maybe. It's really awesome. I really think that there is use for them, and a lot of people do use them. And if I have the effort and more time, I would probably use them more as well. But that's pretty much going to be it for me today for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the topic. You probably could have just listened to this in the background, and a lot of you probably have. I know my content seems to have changed quite a bit lately. A lot of it is mostly videos like this, talking about other things as well. But with the time that I do get now to make videos, it has changed quite a bit. It should be coming back to normal at some point in the near future, hopefully. But if not, then I hope you still enjoy this sort of videos. You guys seem to be honest. The views and stuff are a lot higher than they used to be. So I'm assuming you guys are enjoying this sort of topic and stuff like that a lot more. But we'll just have to see. And of course, if not, you guys can let me know in the comments, and I can start looking at other stuff as well, see what happens. And you know, your guys' opinion does matter, and I really do appreciate it. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. And like I always say, if you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a like. If you are new to the channel and you still enjoyed the video, then make sure to subscribe as well. There'll be a lot more coming. You guys may see some Final Fantasy 14 stuff coming out as well. Don't panic. I'm not quitting RuneScape. I've played RuneScape for way too long to quit this game. I love it. It's absolutely awesome. And to be honest, my channel is like 99% RuneScape stuff anyway. So don't worry about that. Just trying to branch out and reach out to other things as well. Stick around though. More RuneScape stuff coming. And I will see you guys in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye. Oh, actually, one more thing, just a quick note. I added this on at the end. This is me during editing now. If you guys want to see me test out having maybe 10 to 20 accounts on something, you know, let me know in the comments. I'll give it a shot. We'll see what we can do. See if my computer can even run something like that and see whether it's worth it. And if no one replies saying whether you do or don't get banned, then we might be able to figure it out ourselves anyway. But let me know in the comments, and I will take it. I'll consider it. I'm not promising anything, but I will definitely consider it. Anyway, thank you again all so much for watching. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you later. See you later, guys.